Um, Welcome to this webinar where we will be discussing the collaborative effort between the Internet Society and its long-standing partner, Afrinic. Um, I want to thank you all for making time for this exchange. It is a small exchange where we'll witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Afrinic and the Internet Society. We would also witness the launch of a new project on collaboration on measurements in Africa. Our program today is pretty simple. We will first of all start with opening remarks from representatives of both institutions. Then we will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding. Following that, we will have the launch of the Africa Measurement Project. Our panelists today, David Bekele, Regional Vice President for Internet Society in Africa, um, and Eddie, who is, I cannot pronounce the other name, sorry. It is Kuyihura. I don't know if it is right, but I'm trying I'm trying the best as I can. Who is the CEO for Afrinic, and we have Kevin Chege, who is Senior Director for ISOC Africa. And then we have, I'm not sure if I get the name rightly, but it is, no.
Amrish.
So, Amrish, yeah, Amrish. So finally you have Amrish, who is going to be our partner on the project. So on the project which we are going to launch. So without further ado, I will invite David and Eddie for their opening remarks.
Thank you, Israel. Good afternoon to all. Thank you for coming to this important milestone for Afrinic and the Internet Society. The two organizations have been working together for a long time, but this is the first time that they agreed to formally join their efforts for an important and common objective. For those who are not very familiar with Internet Society, or as we call it, ISOC, let me say a few words about it. The Internet Society is a global non-profit organization established about 28 years ago by Internet pioneers. It is dedicated to ensuring the open development, evolution, and use of the Internet. It works to ensure that the Internet remains a force for good for everyone. It has more than 50,000 individual members, more than 130 chapters, and 98 organizational members around the world. I'm happy to say that among these, 37 of the chapters are Africans, more than 10,000 of the members and 4 of the organizational members, which includes Afrinic, are also from Africa. Through these communities and our staff from around the world, we work for an internet that is open, globally connected, and secure. In Africa, many know the Internet Society for its technical capacity building programs since the early 1990s, even before Africa's connection to the Internet. We have also been active in solving some of Africa's major interconnection problems. More recently, we have been engaged in proposing complementary solutions to connect those people who are still unconnected, since we believe no one should be left behind the Internet. Through our collaboration with the African Union Commission, we also help African countries increase their awareness and improve their capacity on important policy issues such as privacy and security. Our collaboration with Afrinic started at its inception. In fact, we were one of the organizations who were active supporters of its establishment about 16 years ago. After its establishment, we worked in capacity building, especially around IPv6 and DNSSEC together. We also worked in the promotion of open internet standards by organizing together, amongst other things, 3 annual hackathons at the Africa Internet Summit. Last but not least, we have been working on the promotion of secure internet routing by promoting what we call the manners principle. We are proud to sign today this MOU to work together for the good of Africa's internet. This strategic long-term partnership agreement aims at strengthening continent-wide collaboration to drive the development of the internet in Africa through projects and research related to internet measurements, internet resilience, routing security, open internet standards, and internet exchange points. Today, I am also happy to say that Afrinic and ISOC have agreed to work together on Internet Society's measuring the Internet project. Although Africa has made major strides in improving Internet penetration in the last decade by narrowing the gap with the rest of the world, the continent must improve the resilience and reliability of its Internet infrastructure to pave way for innovation and technological advancement for the future, as expressed in African Union's 2063 agenda. Our interests have always been aligned well with those of Afrinic, and we are excited to work with Afrinic to create a bigger and stronger internet across Africa. We look forward to collaborating on more issues for a bigger and stronger internet in Africa. Now I would like to invite my friend Eddie Kaihura, Chief Executive Officer of Afrinic, to give his speech.
Thank you, David, and I'm glad that you've not yet forgotten how to pronounce my name. Allow me to also welcome everyone and the internet community to this important event. I believe this is the first time we at Afrinic are signing an MOU online, and this offers us an opportunity to do the same thing we've been doing in a different manner. It also tells us that we should be more innovative, more collaborative in whatever we do. I'm looking forward to a fruitful collaboration that not only works for the two of us, Afrinic and ISOC, but the whole of Africa and our people. ISOC and Afrinic, as you said, have been working closely in the last few years, and we share the same objective of working towards a more reliable, accessible, affordable, and resilient internet in Africa. And ISOC has always been an active member in our community and has always accompanied us in our journey of growing the internet in Africa, and we are thankful for that. This collaboration avenue is in line with Afrinic's strategic objective of enhancing a joint initiative with internet organizations in advancing internet technology and development in Africa. This collaboration is an opportunity to showcase our expertise in internet measurement and other areas that are crucial elements that will help towards building a more sustainable and resilient internet infrastructure in Africa. Afrinic and ISOC are planning to organize a series of events together, webinars, workshops, and hackathons around measuring internet resilience in Africa. I will encourage the members of our community to take advantage of this. The community stands to get more insight on internet measurement techniques and best practices. The project will also provide information to network operators, government, and other decision makers. Information from this research project will also be useful for formulating policies to improve the internet resilience on the continent. This collaboration is the first of many partnerships with Afrinic we are engaged in.
Please excuse me, Eddie. So we have a lot of interference. Can you just check the cable's in properly in your microphone? It could be that. And then just try. It was fine earlier, but it's gone echoey.
Okay, fine. Sorry for this. Is it better now?
No, it's the same. I wonder if you've got a phone or something next to your microphone. Try unplugging the mic and then plug it back in, and maybe that will help.
for this.
Or maybe turn down your speaker, turn down your volume.
Is it better like this?
No, actually, it's not particularly. On the left-hand side, beside the mute button, you have an arrow. You can click on that and click on your audio settings. And then it has you come to the audio settings, and you can just move your output volume down a little bit, and your input volume down a little bit. And let's see if that works.
Hello.
It's still the same idea, unfortunately. I think we should just carry on as best we can. You may carry on, Eddie.
Sorry, so yeah, Eddie, you can carry on.
Can you hear me? Is it better now? Hello?
We can hear you. There's just a lot of static on the call, but we can understand, so it's okay to proceed.
Sorry for this. I was actually concluding saying that this collaboration is the first of many partnerships that Afrinic will be engaged in, and I'll therefore urge our community to actively contribute to this important collaboration on internet measurement, routing security, IETF Africa, and internet exchange point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adi and David, for the very strong speech. We note that the collaboration is important for both institutions. It is going to help strengthen the internet in Africa, and it is going to work towards supporting Africa reach its ambitious goal for the Agenda 2063. Now that you have discussed what this agreement is all about, I want to invite you to a virtual signing. This is the first in my experience, and I'm sure it is the first for Eddie. The virtual signing will happen. David will first of all do the virtual signing. I don't know if he's going to be doing it on a laptop, an iPad, or on paper. Eddie is going to do it on his end. I don't know if he's going to be signing on the bot I'm seeing on the right of my screen, or he's going to be doing it on the phone. But I want to invite you to witness this signing. So we'll begin by David. He will do the signing on his end, and then he'll pass the baton over to Eddie to do the signing. So David, over to you.
Thank you, Israel. So it's unfortunate we couldn't be together to sign it in person, but it doesn't mean that work should stop. So we are going to use the technology to sign it. I'm going to use the good old paper that I'm going to sign and send to Eddie, and Eddie will do the same thing so that we have both the copies. So let me take the camera. I hope you can see it. Okay, so today, 24th of July, 2020, and signature.
Wow! Congrats for the signing. I pass the baton back to Eddie for the signing as well.
Thank you. I will also sign it on the 24th of July. Right, done.
thank you both for signing. This is a historic agreement that the both organizations.
We need a virtual upload as well.
Yes, allow me to come to that. It is a very historic agreement, so I want to invite you to clap. I want to see everybody's hands like this. So we will do three claps on my count. 1, 2, and then we do 1, 2, 3. So let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations for these important agreements to build Africa's internet. I think closer to this, the first baby of this agreement is what we're going to be witnessing right after this. And we are going to be discussing and launching the Africa Measurement Project, which is one area where this partnership is heading towards. So I will invite, first of all, Amrish to share with us a bit what is in this project. After that, we will invite Kevin to discuss more about that. So Amrish, if you're available and ready, let's go.
I'm here. Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here today, and congratulations again to both our organizations. Embarking on this new journey. So, okay, we have the slides here. As mentioned, Afrinic is going to collaborate on a few initiatives, and one of them is quite important and very interesting to me, being the research manager at Afrinic and having worked on internet measurements for quite a while. The project is about measuring Africa's internet resilience, and have the pleasure to work and share this initiative with my colleague Kevin at ISOC. So what's this? What is this project about? Next slide, please. So internet resilience, as you have seen, and you might have experienced also during, for example, during the recent COVID-19 pandemic. We have seen a more accrued usage of the internet in more, I would say, for example, in residential areas. So how is everyone on the African continent experiencing internet in their way? How can we actually measure that the person in a rural place is actually experiencing the internet as someone in, let's say, in a more developed setting? Is the person actually paying a high price for the internet and getting a bad quality of experience? So all these actually put together constitute what we call the resilience of the internet, and it should be measured so that we can actually improve on the different metrics that we are going to measure. So I mentioned quality of experience or quality of service is one. But it can be many other things. It can be, for example, is your network resilient to attacks? Is your network resilient to sabotage, or even, act of God, as we used to call it, like flooding or fire and things like that. So this is what we are going to measure at different levels, and also involving different stakeholders, whether it is regulators, governments, and most importantly, the people operating the networks. They should be aware of the different underlying, I would say, criteria that allows us to measure the performance and the reliability of the internet. At the end of the day, when we gather this data using different internet measurement tools, we will obviously put this data on some sort of dashboard that can actually allow anyone interested in the resilience of the internet to retrieve the data and analyze the data, and then also take the decisions that will allow them to actually make improvements on on their network. Next slide, please. ISOC and AFRINIC is going to therefore work on this very important project on measuring the internet, but we are not just going to measure it only maybe I would say for a few days and then we stop. The idea is really actually to make the measurement in a very sustainable way, so that even in 2, 3, or even more 5 or 6 years, we can still get the data in a longitudinal fashion, so that we have a good analysis of how things have been evolving. Let me pass now the floor to Kevin for the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amrish, and greetings, everyone. So I'm Kevin Chage of Internet Society, and I'm glad to be here with you. So just to continue about the project, one of the other goals we want to achieve is to present the measurement data in an easy-to-use manner for users at all levels. So whether you're a policymaker, you're a technical engineer, or just a normal internet user who wants to find out more about your internet connection or the internet connections in Africa and the stability. This data will be presented in an easy-to-use fashion for you to use for whatever you'd like to use the data for, whether it's research or to make a stronger case for better connectivity in your country. Next slide, please. So some of the work has already begun. We've done a bit of background work with AFRINIC. These are the timelines which we have established for the remainder of the year. We are going to put out a definition document by next month. And then shortly after, we are going to establish how we are going to carry out the measurements in terms of the infrastructure. And then after that, begin the measurements. And hopefully before the end of the year, we can share a bit of data on the research we have done so far. So that's a very brief summary of the plan this year. We are going to be updating the community using that URL over there that links to a mailing list that is hosted by AFRINIC. So we're going to be sending more information about the project and the research going on via that list. Next slide, please. So I think I'll stop here and say thank you very much. And I'm looking forward on working on this with AFRINIC. And please join us on that mailing list. We're also going to share the URL on the chat. And we look forward to engaging with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin and Amrish. In our program, we also had a slot for questions and answers. If you have questions, here is the time for it. I think there are a couple of questions that have come already. I will go by, I would ask the questions in sets of 3, and these are the first 3 sets that we have in the chat box, as well as on the question and answer section of our discussion. So the first question I can see here is that how will members work or support this program? Locally identified and selected location. The second is that is there an opportunity for members to work on this program as researchers, surveyors, program officers in communities, etc. Then the third, I think that those 2 are coming from the same person. So if you have questions, you're putting it in the chat, put it in the question box, we can answer. It is coming from Soji McBowen. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but if I'm not, please forgive me. And so, yeah, so these are the questions. I think it is directed towards the panelists. Any panelist can respond. When you're asking your questions, direct it to a specific panelist if it concerns whatever they said. So I would put it to the floor to answer.
I can start, and then my colleagues can also chip in. So the first question, how will members support this program? So as we continue to define the work and the activities, we are foreseeing engaging a lot of the community. We want to collect, in summary, maybe two types of data. So there's what you can measure with tools, and then there's what you can measure with surveys and questionnaires. So we see a lot of engagement with the community, and that's why on that mailing list is where we're going to be defining the work and where we think we would need some assistance from people on the ground. So I would say please join the mailing list, and then from next week we're going to start sending more information about the project and then define the roles on engagement.
Right, if I may add, Kevin, so yes, absolutely. We will be looking to actually engage members of the communities, of the different African communities, for example, in hosting internet measurement platforms. So we know in Africa, there are places that we have internet measurement platforms, but there are places that we would need to actually put them, and this will happen obviously with the members of the community, and this is a way that we could actually engage them more in this project.
Thank you very much. I see there are no questions in the question and answer. I think he's following up again. He's asking how many countries in Africa would this program cover? This is to the panelists. I will also be checking on the social media if there are questions. There are quite a number of people following on Twitter and Facebook, because the event is streamed on Facebook and Twitter at the same time. So over to you, the panelists. There are no questions yet on Facebook and Twitter, but anybody can answer.
Okay, I can answer about the number of countries. So initially, we want to start with 10 African countries. That will be what you'd call to test our theory in terms of the definition of internet resilience, test out our metrics in terms of what we want to measure and how to rank the important metrics and the lesser important metrics. And then from that, we'll build on. So I would say this year, the plan is to start with 10. Then as we move on, refine the work and hopefully scale that up as we move forward. Test out our metrics in terms of... Okay, so there are right probes. Maybe Amresh, you can answer about the right probes. I see a question about RIPE Atlas.
Yeah, absolutely. So RIPE Atlas we have actually selected RIPE Atlas as one of the various internet measurement platforms that exist, and we are going to seize this opportunity actually to increase the footprint of RIPE Atlas in our region. As we know, RIPE Atlas is an open platform, and the data as well is open, and it would actually be very beneficial for the whole African community to actually get more RIPE Atlas probe installed in different networks and in different regions of Africa, and also take advantage of all the benefits that such a large internet measurement platform gives us. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just repeat the questions for those who are following online. The question is, there have been RIPE Atlas probes in different regions of Africa for a while. Would you guys consider using some of the data that RIPE have taken thus far? And I think you have provided the answer. The next question is how the measurement will impact our internet ecosystem practice in Africa. So this is directed to any of the panelists. You can answer.
I can answer to that. Definitely this is an important question, because we do that to change the African ecosystem. As you have probably noticed, internet penetration have improved. We have more and more bandwidth. but our internet is not reliable. And we want to have more reliability in our internet in Africa, because unless it is reliable, there are many applications that we cannot use. For example, I don't know if you have noticed, I have been disconnected a few times during this very short webinar. So we need more reliability, and for that we need to measure. If you can't measure it, you cannot improve it. So we are trying to measure it so that the various stakeholders, the regulators, the operators themselves, and the users know, the issues that might exist in order to find solutions. So it will definitely have, I hope, a positive impact on the ecosystem of the internet in Africa.
Will the measurement platform be available in mobile networks as well? Just observe the noticeable differences in PLT and DRT when measuring from mobile vantage point versus speed checker probes. Oh my God.
I can take that one. So the question was is mostly about whether we are going to have measurement platforms available on mobile. So as you know, Africa is very much mobile as opposed to other regions of the world. So it would actually make sense that we also gear our measurement more towards mobile internet and mobile broadband. So that there are different techniques available, but the problem is actually not problem, but the challenge, I would say, is actually how to roll out those measurement platforms in such a way that it is representative of the whole whole African mobile interconnection ecosystem. So in the countries that we are going to select, we are going to approach regulators there and also internet mobile network operators, and try to find ways actually to install those mobile probes. So that person talk about differences in page load time and DNS resolution time. So hopefully with those new measurement tools at the edge, we will see the differences clearly actually.
Another question, how will you do a collaboration with IXP in Africa, as they are doing a great job?
I can take this one. So basically, we don't have any intention to redraw the wheel. So there are a lot of things that is already existing, as our colleagues mentioned, that we have different measuring devices that are available on the market. And as I said before, we have to collaborate with the different partners, and the exchange point are one big source of not only information, but they also have the relationships with the different players in the countries. It's not something that Afrinic-ISOC can do on our own, and we are going to involve as many players, and the Internet Exchange Point are for sure going to be one of those that we're going to support us into not only getting the doors open, getting the different measurement device installed and so on, and we are going to rely a lot on their support. Thank you.
And the question is, how will bandwidth cost be managed by the two organizations in cases where measurements are done by individuals? Can you hear me? That is, I think that is the next question we have. By this question, we will take 3 more questions, and that will be it for us.
Okay, I can take this one. So regarding costs, I'm not very sure if you mean the costs of the individuals who are doing the measurements in the country. So as I mentioned, we are continuing to define, well, first we have to select the countries, but we also need to define the metrics and see what costs are going to be required to be covered in order to complete the measurements. So what I'll say is that's one, one of the issues we've identified. We are going to work our way to cover those costs in terms of ensuring that the research work can be done properly. But what I would say is please join the mailing list. We are all going to be communicating there and updating, and we are going to deal with that in terms of communicating on the way forward on carrying out the measurements in the individual countries.
Good. Let me see. There is one last question. I think it is a follow-up question. He's asking for instance using kept data. So that's a follow-up on the same question.
Yeah, so I think all these are good questions. As I mentioned, we are going to do this step by step. We are going to be updating on the mailing list about how we're going to go about the work. But as I mentioned a bit earlier, we are going to measure, there's in terms of, if you're asking us about measuring about the costs of internet in each country, there are measurements which you're going to measure using tools. And then there are measurements we want to measure using surveys or questionnaires. So we are going to capture as much data as possible. So what I'll say is perhaps maybe just join the mailing list, and we are going to address all these issues as we come across them.
Okay, I think that brings us to the last question. We want to thank all of you for making time. When I look at the participants, we have around 52 participants. Thank you for making time in a short notice. We opened the advertisement for this event very, very late. I think we opened it for just 2 or 3 days of advert, and we are glad to have 52 people attending. We also want to thank the panelists for making time to share this very, very important agreement with all of us. I want to thank more specifically David for making the time, Eddie for making the time and for signing the agreement, Amrish and Kevin for sharing these updates. And finally, I want to thank all of you for all those who worked behind the scenes to ensure that this event takes place. It is a huge backlog that of work that has been put to ensure that this event is happening. And I want to invite all the chapters to collaborate with Kevin and Victor and all those within the ISOC community and the Afrinic community to support the project, to support the agreement, so that we can all make Africa a continent that is stronger when it comes to the internet. And so that is it for us. Thank you for making the time, and au revoir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.